I'm Blanche from Birmingham, and I'm just going to have a little word and tell you what sort of a life I had as a child, because I was brought up on the barges in the Grand Union that is now, but was then being built as one. And my father was a man that worked on the barges and took trafficked stuff from one place to another, from Worcester to Evesham and all those sort of places, and worked on the barges full time. And in between, we sort of all managed to get together, and we led a very nice life, but a very poor life. And the people on the farms at the side of the locks used to come down and leave food in boxes, and you just helped yourself to what you wanted. You didn't take too much, and you left some for other people, which unfortunately I don't think they do today. But there again, that was then. And then my father used to work on the barge, actually doing the trafficking, but every now and then when there was a short gap of being taken off or loading up, they used to go and work on the piling up at the side of the canal, and they called that navvying. And they used to do that for perhaps 2 or 3 hours at a time, just for that bit of extra money. And when he was once doing that, he got killed. So, of course, we had to come off the barges. My mother couldn't manage on her own with all the girls. But his friend, and we'd been friends with, I gather, for years, moved in and said, no, if now you've got to move, you've no money, and the kids will have to go into the poorhouse. So they said, well, the workhouse isn't the place for kids, so I'll marry you and I'll take over where he left off. And I'll bring the kiddies up as my own, which he did. They didn't live together as man and wife, but they lived together to do this thing. And they sort of worked on and worked on. And then after a time, when we all started to grow up, we got this house in Birmingham, but it was right in the centre of where it was very, very poor. And the bigger ones used to go, straight home from school when they'd had these free meals. But I always went to the church with the canon because I was so tiny. I used to get pushed around, and he used to say, well, you come and help my housekeeper and we'll clean up all the things in the church and keep them nice. And then after a time I used to go and sit by his side and listen to his stories, and he'd help me to read. And then one day he said, well, Christmas is coming near now, so how about what you're going to ask for? So I said, well, I've been asking for it. I said, and Jesus just hasn't heard me. And he said, well, what are you asking for? I said, some of those posh things that the posh girls use instead of paper for handkerchiefs. So he said, well, I'll tell you what, we'll go into the church and we'll ask Jesus together. So we went into the church, and I stood on the pew and he stood at the side. He said, right, we're going to shout as loud as we can, and I promise you we will hear. So we both stood there and shouted, please, Jesus, send us some of these, please. And then when Christmas came and we all got your little gift from under the tree, I got this box of hankies with a little pretty flower in the corner and a bee on it for Blanche. And but I couldn't use them, and I've still got them to this day, still in the box and still as they were. I slept with them under my pillow.